Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you watched my last video, and if you did, thank you. Really appreciate it. Whatever you're facing right now, you chose in this moment to set aside time for God. Just let that soak in right now. It's incredible. I'm guessing clicking on this video, you're like me and you're going through a situation right now where you're stressed, you're anxious, you're confused. I'm right there with you. And I know how difficult it is to hear from God, and even more challenging to even consider resting in a time where things feel so chaotic. So let's take a look at what Jesus says in Matthew chapter 11, starting in verse 28. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. So last night I felt incredibly anxious, to the point where I felt it in the pit of my stomach, that kind of feeling of nausea, but not really anything to do with what I ate or anything. It just feels like every part of me was just buzzing with anxiety and anticipation. And I knew the reason. It wasn't anything necessarily bad. It was just, I'm so ready for change. I'm so ready to see a chapter in my life finally close and to enter into the next stage, And I found myself daydreaming a lot of that moment, that moment where I can just have, shut the door on it and then see what new door opens up. And it came to the point where it was making me anxious because I was just overly anticipating seeing God move. And don't get me wrong, it's great to wait with expectation. We're, called to, wait expectantly on the Lord. But I was more so doing it expecting on my own terms, expecting the change to happen in my time and expecting the change to happen according to what I see, what I vision it. And so I ended up taking some time for, talking to God, asking Him, help me keep my eyes on you. Give me that strength. Give me that patience and that peace to rest my mind, but keep it focused on you. Not with the circumstances around me that I'm so ready to see change, but just to keep my eyes on you. And I'm telling you, last night in the middle of my prayer, I started thinking about Peter. In Matthew 14, Jesus' disciples were on a boat where they saw him in the middle of the night walking on water. Let's pick up on verse 26. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, It is a spirit, and they cried out for fear. But straightway Jesus spoke unto them, saying, Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me to come unto thee on the water. And he said, Come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked onto the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him, and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? So that revelation can only come from God, right? So I started to think about my faith a little more deeply, and I could see God tell me, keep your eyes on me. Don't worry about the rocky waters underneath your feet or the chaos of the wind surrounding you. I want to take you now to Joshua 3. The Israelites are at the last obstacle ahead of entering the Promised Land, the Jordan River, and they're instructed to wait for the Ark of the Covenant to lead the way. Picking up on verse 4. Yet there shall be a space between you and it,
about 2,000 cubits by measure. Come not near unto it, that ye may know the way by which ye must go, for ye have not passed this way heretofore. The Israelites are called to blindly follow with their eyes set on the Ark of the Covenant, God's presence, to carve out the path forward. And the Lord said unto Joshua, This day I will begin to magnify thee in the sight of all Israel, that they may know that I was with Moses, so I will be with thee. So when the priests get to the brink of the Jordan River, it's described as overflowing. How could they possibly pass through? One commentary I read says, it is almost as if the river defiantly dares Israel to attempt a crossing. So let's pick up at verse 15. And as they that bear the ark were come unto Jordan, and the feet of the priests that bear the ark were dipped in the brim of the water, skip down, that the waters which came down from above stood and rose up upon a heap very far from the city Adam, that is beside Zeraton, and those that came down toward the sea of the plain. Even the salt sea failed, and were cut off, and the people passed over right against Jericho. And the priests that bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord stood firm on dry ground in the midst of Jordan. And all the Israelites passed over on dry ground until all the people were passed clean over Jordan. If you're familiar with the Israelites' passage out of Egypt, what does this remind you of? Let's jump back to Exodus 14. I'm going to pick up at verse 21. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. And the Egyptians pursued, and went in after them to the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. Skipping down to verse 26. And the Lord said unto Moses, Stretch out thine hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen. And Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to his strength when the morning appeared. And the Egyptians fled against it, and the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. Skipping down and emphasizing again, but the children of Israel walked upon dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left.
So you might be facing a swelled river that looks impossible to cross, or hundreds of Egyptians in full pursuit, riding in chariots after you. Trust that God is on your side, and there is nothing. He has the authority, remember? There is nothing that is going to stop him from fulfilling his will in your life. So trust in him, rest in him, keep your eyes on him. Do not let that circumstance rob you of your joy. Do not let that circumstance steal your time. You got this. We got this. So please, leave a comment if you have any other revelations from what we discussed today. Any prayer requests, again, you can just say, pray for me, and I will pray for you. And please pray for me too. So I'll see you guys next time. Teddy will see you guys next time too. All right, bye.